Wama giving all praise unto Yabashima Shabashima Kodasha, double honors unto the apostles of a great millstone. And honestly, brothers, that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. It's gonna be a quick video, and this is pretty much indicative of the state of affairs here in the UK. And we got the schools here, but really this applies to households, businesses, healthcare, right? Which is all funded by the what they call is public funded, so it's funded by the taxpayer. It's publicly owned, and you can pretty much see that the outlook for the UK is not very good. Okay, it's not very good at all. Moreover, these other countries, smaller countries, I was speaking to one of my friends. He's a Jake, I believe he's a Jake. He's from Hungary, and he was saying, look, here within the UK, you got programs designed to help families and people, but over in these other European countries, they don't have those programs. So they are experiencing this whole energy crisis thing, in addition to the food crisis that's coming up, because food prices are going up, and also to the financial crisis. So you got like a triple whammy of things that are going to happen here within Europe specifically. Gonna reach out there onto the Americas, into the Babylon eventually, but at the minute it's just happening out here within Europe. And indeed, like the apostle said, the brothers out here within Europe are gonna feel that hell first, right? The apostle Tahar had said that. So the elder apostle Tahar had said that through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. So we can see these pieces coming into effect. And these big institutions that rely on public funding here within the UK are falling apart. I'm going to go into this article, and I'm going to go into the implications. And we can extrapolate and think about other institutions that will be experiencing a very similar thing. So just to add some detail about Europe, they're also experiencing the same problems, but they don't have these programs that you have here within the UK, which within the UK, those programs of, £400 handout for the energy, certain subsidies that they put in place, really, that's helping to hurt them. Same thing with the furlough money that they gave you. They kept you pacified, and that goes to show you that this man surely has searched out deep to understand people. They've searched out deep to understand people, man. So this guy has understood that if you pacify a man for a little while, but the pacification is really creating a even greater problem, because you think about what they've done to the economy. Man, they did that off of the back of sending you at home. Now, you should have rebelled when you got sent at home. And anybody with a basic understanding of the economy would have told you, look, being at home for 8 months and getting paid for it off of a borrowing is not a good idea. Okay, that's why these economies are crashing. But more specifically, England is crashing right now, and it's got great inflation because people are sitting at home and so-called working from home, and if you wasn't working from home, which is about 60% by my estimation, just based off of the people that live around me. Not everybody's working in the office, right? So the vast majority of people were, which are laborers and manual labor individuals, they was just at home, man, furlough. Unless you was a so-called critical worker, which was a new social identity, right? That's a good word. That's a new social identity. So now you got the inflation thing, right? But the main problem that we see right now is the stand with the Ukraine, and then you have a winter of pain situation that's happening out here within the UK. Okay, so let's get into this article. And like I said, just remember that most of these countries, like Italy, I think Spain's going to be in a very similar boat. Hungary, like we mentioned, maybe Poland, Lithuania, all of these European NATO countries, the little ones, man, they're going to suffer. This is why the scripture says they're going to turn against the whore. Because these situations are off of the back of what? The sanctions against Russia and the invasions of the Russians going into Ukraine, and subsequently the NATO countries, along with the EU, refusing to use Russian gas, or not so much refusing to use Russian gas, but to sanction them to the end that the Russians said, okay, you're going to freeze this winter. Now the businesses are slowing down and everything is looking hella peak. Okay? Exclusive. 90% of England's schools will run out of money next year. Okay? It's imminent. 90%, 9 out of 10 of schools in England will have run out of money by next year as numerous burdens have increased. Salary bills have gone up because people was protesting against salaries. Energy bills have skyrocketed. Right, early data from the National Statistics ahead to the results of a survey of its members are due later this month shows that 50% of heads say their schools will be in a deficit. So they'll be losing money. So it's supposed to be a profitable endeavor, right? Not so much profitable. Let's say, you get £1 million from the government that's funded by taxes, right? And then you might have some money left over in your budget. And that's what usually happens in a company. Let's say a particular manager has $100,000 budget. By the end of the fiscal year, what you have to do is you have to have spent that budget. So you might have to employ people. You might have to buy equipment. That's why sometimes you see the equipment gets bought right about the end of the year when your manager's like, oh, okay, right, we still got 10 grand in the in my own personal budget, right? I got assigned 100,000 last year. I still got 10 grand left. All right, let me spend this up before it gets swallowed up by the manager, by bonuses and whatnot. Because you really look at it, the bonuses they're gonna take that money, so you might as well spend it, right? So these companies, these schools, which are really companies and corporations, when you really understand it, they have a particular budget from the government, and then they'll spend the money however they're gonna spend the money, right? And they might even have a little bit of money saved up because they operate a little bit differently. Now they're saying they're going to be working in a deficit. That's to say they're borrowing money in order to pay staff, pay for equipment, etc., 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 right? So this is schools. And schools, when you think about it, schools haven't got as much overheads as some other businesses. One, they don't manufacture anything, so they're not very energy intensive. Those schools open from what? From 7 o'clock in the morning, maybe 6:30, up until about 3 in the evening. So the heating, in terms of operational costs, heating, okay, maybe you have to run a kitchen, salaries, equipment. The operational cost the operational cost is exactly the same as a business, except another business will probably have to spend more money, and hence my point, like let's say a manufacturing plant. They got to spend more money to actually manufacture something. So this is what's happening out here within the UK, man. It's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. Okay, anybody that's using, so you think about the students being the little workers or whatever, right? In a factory. Think about the teachers being the managers, and you think about, right? It's a service business. Okay, it's very similar. So these businesses that work off of people coming into an office and sitting down and working on a laptop for a little while, they're going to be in a very similar position. See that? In addition to that, the businesses that got to produce something, bro, there's a lot of energy that has to be used, which all of these energy bills are going up. There's a lot of energy that goes into drilling 1 million times a day, right? You got to attach pneumatic drills to everything, for brothers that know. Pneumatic drills to everything, okay? Pneumatic staplers and stamps and all of this machinery that you see within a factory. That all takes energy, man. That all takes energy. So they're going to be suffering, man. Their profitability on the year has gone down. So it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good. So you can see that the grinding is ceasing. Thus saith the scriptures. And pretty much, man, soon these cities that we live in, they're going to look very different. It's gonna be terrible out here, man. So with that, I'm gonna say, all praise unto Yahweh Shema Shai Bashim Rekha HaKodash. Hopefully that was a verification. Double honors unto the apostles of Great Millstone. And honor your brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.